The alarms blare, red lights pulsing through Apex Dynamics Lab 7 like a heartbeat gone wild, and I'm frozen, my hand still on the Stellar Pulse engine's fuel valve, its cool metal burning my palms. Victor Ramsey's voice cuts through, the chaos, venomous and sharp. You little thief, you think you can sabotage my engine. His eyes gleam with something darker than anger satisfaction, like he's caught a mouse in his trap. I'm only 14, a black girl in a janitor's jacket. And the security guards' boots echo closer, their radios crackling with orders to seize me. My heart slams against my ribs, not just for me but for Dad, who could lose everything if I'm arrested. How did I get here? Tampering with a $60 million machine in the dead of night. It's not sabotage, it's justice. But Ramsey's sneer says he'll never believe a mop girl like me could outsmart him. As the guards burst through the door, I clutch Ezekiel's journal in my mind. His words my only anchor. Machines have souls, Maya, listen, and they'll guide you. I'm not done yet, but I have to go back to explain how this fire started. It's 4 a.m., 3 days earlier, and my alarm jolts me awake in our cramped Seattle apartment. The Puget Sound's chill seeping through the walls. I silence it fast, not wanting to wake Dad. Caleb Thompson, the strongest man I know, worn thin by years of cleaning Apex's labs to keep us afloat since Mom died of leukemia when I was 11. I'm Maya, 14, with braids I twist tight and eyes that hide more than they show. I pull on my school clothes, lay a Dad's faded Apex jacket over them, and pack 2 lunches, mine with peanut butter, his with turkey, both on bread that's a day past fresh. Rise and shine, Dad, I whisper, nudging him. His groan is heavy, but he's up, his calloused hands rubbing sleep from his face. We're out by 4:30, trudging 4 blocks to the bus stop, the cold biting my fingers as I clutch a dog-eared physics book. The number 12 bus rumbles us to Apex's glass and steel fortress, and I study equations while Dad naps his head against the window. This is us, invisible but unbreakable. At Apex, the security guard barely glances at our badges, his indifference a slap compared to the pat-downs engineers get later. Janitorial, Dad says, the word a wound he doesn't show. We split up him to the executive floor, me to the research wing, my cleaning cart creaking like a warning. Lab 3 smells of ozone and ambition, but Lab 4 is my haven, its workstations, littered with manuals that sing to me. I dust around oscilloscopes, my eyes darting to thrust diagrams and pressure specs. Ezekiel Brooks, my grandfather, taught me machines have souls, not just gears, and his notebooks filled with sketches that made cars hum and tractors dance are my Bible. He's been gone 2 years, but I'm his student still, piecing together engineering from Apex's scraps, online tutorials, and his wisdom. I've started a circuit journal, a secret notebook where I sketch fixes for Apex's designs in code only I understand. My quiet rebellion against a world that doesn't see me. The engineers arrive at 6:45, their chatter drowning out the lab's hum. I fade into the background, a shadow in a jacket too big for me. Victor Ramsey strides in, his tailored suit screaming power, but his eyes cold calculating chill me more than Seattle's fog. He's the chief engineer, Apex's golden boy, but there's a hunger in him, like he's always proving something. Stellar Pulse is bleeding us dry, he snaps, tossing a briefcase onto a desk. I'm mopping nearby when my cart snags on its strap, and the case crashes to the floor, papers scattering. The room freezes, and Ramsey's gaze locks on me, a predator spotting prey. Clumsy, mop girl, he hisses, stepping closer. You know how much this project costs? More than your dad's worth in a decade. The engineers laugh, a cruel chorus, and my cheeks burn, shame twisting my gut. Sorry, sir, I mutter, scrambling to gather the papers, but Ramsey crouches, his voice low and vicious. Stick to sweeping, kid, brains aren't your family's thing. The words cut deeper than a blade, not just for me but for Dad, who works himself to death for me. I glance at Dr. Sofia Alvarez, a Mexican-American engineer with kind eyes, but she looks away, her silence a different kind of wound. I finish my shift at 7 o'clock, the sting of Ramsey's cruelty clinging to me as I board the bus to school. At Rainier High, I'm a straighter student, but my teachers don't know I dream in circuits, not just formulas. After school, I join an online inventors circle, a virtual club for teen tinkerers, where I post anonymous designs under the handle Sparks. All it's risky if Apex traced me. I'd be toast, but sharing Ezekiel's ideas, disguised as my own, makes me feel alive. That evening I visit Ezekiel's old auto shop, now run by his apprentice Jamal. The smell of grease grounds me as I flip through his notebooks, my fingers tracing his elegant lines. Machines have souls, he'd say, his warm hands guiding mine over a fuel pump when I was 7. They don't care who you are, only if you listen. His words fuel my circuit journal where I'm decoding Stellar Pulse. $60 million engine, dead for 10 years, its hum broken 2 nights ago. I snuck into Lab 7 after hours, using Dad's keycard, my pulse racing. The Stellar Pulse engine loomed, a beast of steel and possibility. And I found Ezekiel's initials etched inside its housing. My breath caught, he'd worked on it, his genius part of its bones. Later, in the records room, I found his contract, $4,000 for designs that Ramsey patented, stealing Ezekiel's legacy to build his throne. Marcus Tate, a security guard with a limp and a heart bigger than Apex, caught me leaving. "You're Ezekiel's girl, ain't you?" he said, his voice soft. He told me Ezekiel consulted for Apex. His ideas mocked as garage tricks until Ramsey claimed them. "Watch yourself, Maya," Marcus warned. Ramsey's not just mean, he's scared of being exposed. Scared. Ramsey, with his corner office and smug grin, seemed untouchable, but Marcus's words lit a spark. Ramsey's cruelty wasn't just prejudice, it was a mask for guilt. Now, back in Lab 7, the alarms scream, and Ramsey's accusation, sabotage, rings in my ears. I wasn't sabotaging Stellapulse, I was fixing it, using Ezekiel's designs to make it sing again. My circuit journal, tucked in my pocket, holds the proof. But the guards are closing in, and Dad's job or life hangs in the balance. Ramsey's not just a bully, he's a thief who's built his empire on my grandfather's soul, and his fear of me, a 14-year-old nobody, is his weakness. I gripped the valve tighter, Ezekiel's voice in my head. "Listen, Maya, the engine's hum is faint, but it's there, begging me to keep going. I'm not done fighting, not for Ezekiel, not for Dad, not for me." The memory of Lab 7's alarms still haunts me, the echo of Victor Ramsey's voice, "You little thief," ringing like a warning bell as I sit at our kitchen table, my circuit journal open under the dim glow of a single bulb. It's been 2 days since I slipped out of Apex Dynamics, the guards' radios crackling behind me, my heart pounding with the weight of what I'd done. I wasn't sabotaging Stellapulse, I was trying to make it sing, to give voice to my grandfather Ezekiel Brooks, genius, stolen by Ramsey and buried by Apex. My fingers trace the coded sketches in my journal, each line a piece of Ezekiel's soul, and I feel him beside me, his warm voice whispering, "Machines have souls, Maya. Don't let them silence yours." But Ramsey's eyes, sharp with malice and something like fear, tell me this fight is bigger than one engine. He's not just a bully, he's a thief, guarding a lie, and I'm the spark threatening to burn it down. Dad's cough rattles from the bedroom, a reminder of what's at stake, and I know I can't stop now, not when Ezekiel's legacy and our future hang in the balance. That morning, I'm back at Apex, pushing my cleaning cart through the research wing, the fluorescent lights humming like a chorus of judgment. My shift starts at 5 a.m. after a 4-block walk with Dad through Seattle's pre-dawn chill, his silence heavier than usual. Caleb Thompson, my rock, is fraying his cough deeper, his shoulders slumped from double shifts and the fear of Apex's rumored layoffs. "Stay focused, Maya," he says as we part, his voice strained. "School's your ticket out." But school feels like a distant dream when I'm surrounded by Stellapulse's secrets. In Lab 4, I dust around workstations, my eyes darting to a discarded memo about the engine's latest test failure: pressure spikes at 70% power, a $60 million dead end. My mind races, matching the specs to Ezekiel's sketches, the ones I found in his notebook last week, tucked between carburetor designs. His initials are etched inside Stellapulse's housing. Flash in my memory, a beacon pulling me deeper into his story. I need proof, something to nail Ramsey and Apex for what they did. During a break, I slip into the records room, using Dad's keycard, my pulse hammering as the lock clicks open. The air smells of dust and secrets, rows of filing, cabinets stretching like silent accusers. I find a folder marked Brooks E. Consultant, my hands trembling as I pull it out. Inside are Ezekiel's designs, elegant fuel flow patterns, counterintuitive valve settings, a pressure harmony system that could make Stellapulse soar. Apex's annotations credit Ramsey, but a faded contract shows Ezekiel was paid just $4,000, a fraction of the $25,000 white engineers earned for less. My stomach twists with rage, not just at the theft, but at the casual cruelty of it, like Ezekiel's blackness made his brilliance disposable. I snap photos with my phone, each click a vow to make them pay, but fear creeps in. If Ramsey catches me, Dad's job or rent, his medicine's gone. Back in the lab, I'm wiping a whiteboard when Ramsey's voice slices through the hum. "What's Mop Girl doing near my equations?" He's behind me, his shadow looming, a predator who smells weakness. I turn, clutching my rag, and see his smirk, but there's a flicker in his eyes, nervousness, like he's guarding more than his ego. "Just cleaning, sir," I say, my voice steady despite the heat in my cheeks. He steps closer, his cologne sharp, and leans in. "You're too curious for a janitor's kid. Stick to your place, or your dad might find himself out of work." The threat lands like a punch, and the other engineers chuckle, their laughter a wall of privilege. But Dr. Sofia Alvarez, her dark hair pulled back, meets my gaze, her nod, subtle but warm, like a lifeline. Ramsey notices, his jaw tightening, and I realize he's not just cruel, he's scared. Scared of anyone who might see through his lie. That evening, I'm at Ezekiel's old auto shop, the smell of oil grounding me as I sit on his workbench. My circuit journal open. Jamal, the shop's caretaker, hands me a soda, his eyes kind but worried. "You're digging deep, Maya," he says, Ezekiel wouldn't want you risking everything, but I can't stop, not when I know the truth. I pull out my phone and call Marcus Tate, the security guard who knew Ezekiel. Meet me at the shop, I whisper, and he's there in 20 minutes, his limp more pronounced in the cold. Your granddad was a genius, Marcus says, sitting on a crate. Apex brought him in because their fancy engineers were stuck. He designed Stellarpulse's core, but Ramsey took the credit, said a black mechanic couldn't possibly understand aerospace. They paid him pennies, sent him back to his shop. His voice cracks, and I see the pain in his eyes. A man who's watched too many dreams crushed. Why didn't he fight? I ask, my throat tight. Marcus sighs. He did. In his way, saved every dime for your future. But Apex's lawyers, they'd eat him alive. The injustice burns, not just for Ezekiel but for Marcus, for Dad, for every black face Apex deems invisible. I need to do more than hide in shadows. That night, I start Engines and Dreams, a podcast I record in my closet, my voice disguised through a cheap app. This is Sparksoul, I say, my heart racing. Tonight we talk about engine sand, the people who make them sing, even when the world won't listen. I share Ezekiel's ideas, cloaked as hypotheticals, and post the episode to the inventors. Circle, the online teen club where I'm already a quiet star. By morning I have 50 downloads, comments praising my fresh perspective. It's thrilling, like I'm shouting Ezekiel's truth to the world, but terrifying if Apex traces it to me. I'm done. At school I'm distracted, my math teacher noticing my fidgeting. Everything okay, Maya? She asks, and I nod, but my mind's on the podcast, on Ramsey, on Dad's cough, which now shakes the apartment walls. Dad's health is my anchor, and it's slipping. At dinner, he barely touches his soup, his face gray. Just a cold, he insists, but I see the fear in his eyes, fear of doctor's bills, of Apex's layoffs. They're cutting janitors first, he says, his voice low. If I lose this job, Maya, he doesn't finish, but I know, rent, food, my school supplies gone. I want to tell him about Ezekiel, about Stellarpulse, but his warning from last week stops me. Don't rock the boat, Maya. We survive by staying small. His love is my strength, but his fear is a chain, and I'm torn between protecting him and fighting for us. At Apex the next morning, I overhear Ramsey in Lab 5, his voice tight. Stellarpulse's review is in 4 weeks. If we don't stabilize it, the military pulls funding. An engineer mutters, what if we revisit the original designs? Ramsey laughs, sharp and mean. Those old mechanic scribbles, they were flawed from the start. My blood boils, he's lying. Rewriting Ezekiel's genius as garbage to hide his theft. Sofia Alvarez becomes my quiet ally during a cleaning shift. She leaves a technical journal open on her desk, a page marked with Stellarpulse's pressure specs. Thought you might find this useful, she whispers, her smile cautious but real. I slip the journal into my cart, my hands shaking with gratitude. Sofia's risking her job, a woman already sidelined in Apex's boys club, and her trust fuels me. At home, I study the journal, matching it to Ezekiel's sketches, and realize Stellarpulse's failure isn't just Ramsey's theft, it's Apex's arrogance. Assuming a black mechanic's ideas couldn't outshine their degrees, I record another podcast episode, bolder now, hinting at a stolen design that could save an engine. The downloads hit 200, and a comment reads, Sparksoul, you're onto something big. The thrill is electric, but so is the danger. Assistant, Karen Holt, a woman with a hawk's gaze, has started watching me. Her notepad always out when I'm near. Ramsey's cruelty peaks that afternoon. I'm emptying trash in Lab for when he corners me, his briefcase deliberately in my path. You're still here, mop girl, he says, loud enough for the room to hear. Thought you'd have run back to your little ghetto by now. The word lands like a slap, and the engineer's silence is worse. Their averted eyes complicity. My hands clench, but I keep my face blank. Ezekiel's voice in my head. Don't let them dim your soul. Ramsey leans closer, his voice a hiss. I know you're sniffing around Stellarpulse. Keep it up, and your dad's out on the street. His threat is a blade, but his eyes betray him. There's panic there. A man who knows his empire's built on sand. I walk away, my heart pounding, but Sofia catches me in the hall. He's scared of you, she says softly. That's why he's like this, scared. Ramsey, with his power and patents, fears me. It's a revelation that shifts something in me, turning my fear into fire. Dad's cough worsens that night, and I make him tea, my hands shaking with the weight of it all. You're pushing yourself too hard, he says, noticing my tired eyes. I want to tell him everything Ezekiel Stellarpulse, the podcast, but his love, so fierce and fragile, it stops me instead. I hug him, his warmth my only anchor. In my room, I open my circuit journal, sketching a fix for Stellarpulse's pressure spikes, Ezekiel's harmony system, the key, the podcast, the photos, Sofia's journal, their weapons in a war one didn't choose. But I'm fighting now, for Ezekiel, for Dad, for every black soul Apex tried to erase. Ramsey thinks he's untouchable, but he's wrong. I'm Maya Thompson, and my voice through circuits, through airwaves is growing louder. My hands tremble as I grip the edge of the 1.5-foot wide ventilation duct, the cold metal biting my palms in the dead of night at Apex Dynamics. The darkness of Lab 7 below is a promise and a threat. The stellar pulse engine waiting like a sleeping giant I'm desperate to awaken. I'm here, risking everything's job, our future, maybe even his freedom to make Ezekiel's design sing again, to prove a black mechanic's genius over Victor Ramsey's lies. My heart pounds, not just from the fear of getting caught, but from the weight of Dad's cough, now a relentless rattle that shakes our Seattle apartment every night. Caleb Thompson, my anchor is fading, and Apex's layoffs loom like a guillotine, ready to cut us off. Ezekiel's voice echoes in my mind. Machines have souls. Maya and I slide into the duct, my circuit journal tucked in my pocket, its coded sketches my map to justice. Ramsey's threat from yesterday, his hissed warning to stay in my place, fuels my resolve, but his eyes sharp with paranoia tell me he knows I'm close to unraveling his stolen empire. I'm not just fighting for Ezekiel anymore. I'm fighting for Dad, for us, for every soul Apex tried to erase. It started 3 days ago, after I found Ezekiel's designs in the records room, proof that Ramsey stole my grandfather's brilliance to build his career. Dad's bronchitis had worsened, his face ashen as he sat at our kitchen table, barely touching his dinner. The hospital sent a bill, he said, his voice rough. 12 grand. Maya and Apex is cutting ours. His eyes, usually warm with pride, were clouded with fear, not just for money, but for me, for the future he's breaking himself to give me. I wanted to tell him about Stellar Pulse, about Ezekiel's initials etched in its core. But his warning from last week stopped me. Don't mess with Apex, Maya. They'll crush us. His love is my strength, but his fear is a cage, and I'm torn between protecting him and breaking free. At school, I'm a ghost, my 4.0 GPA a mask for the fire burning inside. My math teacher, Miss Harper, notices my distraction, her brow furrowing. You okay, Maya? She asks, and I nod. But my mind's on the Engines and Dreams podcast I started, now at 500 downloads, my anonymous voice as Sparksoul hinting at a stolen aerospace design. The thrill of being heard is addictive, but so is the danger if Ramsey traces it. I'm done. That afternoon at Apex, I'm cleaning Lab 5 when Dr. Sofia Alvarez slips me a flash drive, her fingers brushing mine with purpose. Test data, she whispers, her dark eyes steady. It matches your grandfather's theories. Sofia's risking everything, a Mexican-American engineer already sidelined by Ramsey's clique, and her trust feels like a lifeline. The data shows stellar pressure spikes, exactly what Ezekiel's harmony system could fix. But I need to get to the engine itself. That night, I'm at Ezekiel's auto shop, Jamal watching as I use his 3D printer to build a scaled-down Stellar Pulse model. Its tuned fuel valve's a miniature of the real thing. You're playing with fire, Jamal warns, but I test the model, tweaking the pressure settings to Ezekiel's specs, and it hums perfectly, a tiny symphony. I record the results for my podcast, my voice trembling with excitement. This is how engines should work, I say to my growing audience, when we honor the minds that built them. The episode hits 800 downloads by morning, comments flooding in. Sparksoul, you're changing the game. But Karen Holt, Ramsey's assistant, is circling closer, her notepad always out, her smile cold as she watches me empty trash. Karen corners me the next day in the admin wing, her blonde hair pulled tight, her voice dripping with venom. Awfully interested in things that don't concern you, mop girl, she says, her pen tapping her notepad like a threat. Janitors don't read engineering specs. Her words are laced with racism, the kind that hides behind politeness but cuts just the same. I meet her gaze, my heart racing but my face blank. Just doing my job, ma'am, I say, but she steps closer, her voice low. Keep poking around, and your dad's out of a job, or worse. The threat lands like a stone, and I think of Dad, coughing through the night. The $12,000 bill we can't pay. Karen's not just Ramsey's lapdog, she's his enforcer, her loyalty tied to the power he dangles. I walk away, my hands shaking, but Ezekiel's words steady me. Don't let them dim your soul. I'm not dimming anything, not now, not ever. I make my move that night, using Dad's keycard to slip into Apex after hours. My breath shallow as I navigate the darkened halls. The ventilation duct above Lab 7 is my only way in 1.5 feet wide, dusty and colder than Seattle's winter. I crawl through, cobwebs clinging to my jacket, the metal creaking under my knees. My circuit journal, tucked in my pocket, holds Ezekiel's designs and I clutch it like a talisman. Below Stellar Pulse waits, its curves gleaming under emergency lights. I drop silently into the lab, my heart hammering as I approach the engine, my hands tracing its tuned fuel valves. Ezekiel's harmony system counterintuitive pressure settings. Fluid flow patterns comes alive in my mind, and I start adjusting each turn of the wrench a step toward justice. I'm halfway through when the door creaks, and Sophia steps in, her eyes wide with shock. Maya, what are you doing? She whispers, but there's no anger, only awe. I freeze, expecting her to call security, but she kneels beside me, studying my work. This is Ezekiel's design, isn't it? she says, her voice soft. It's brilliant. I nod, my throat tight, and explain the harmony system, how Ramsey's fixes broke it. Sophia's hands join mine, her expertise guiding my tweaks, and for the first time, I'm not alone. We work for an hour, the engine's hum growing steadier, but footsteps echo outside, and I dive under a workstation, Sophia covering for me. It's Karen, her flashlight sweeping the room. Who's in here? She snaps, her voice sharp with suspicion. Sophia steps forward, calm as steel. Just checking equipment, Karen. Routine maintenance. Karen's eyes narrow, but she leaves. Her radio crackling. Sophia helps me up. Her face grim. Ramsey's got her watching you, she says. He knows someone's tampering, and he's terrified it'll work. Terrified. Ramsey, with his corner office and stolen patents, fears me. The thought ignites something fierce in me. But so does the guilt. Dad doesn't know I'm here, risking his job, our life. Sophia hands me another flash drive, test data confirming our adjustments, and whispers, keep going, Maya, I'll cover you. Her alliance is a gift, but the weight of it her career. My family presses hard. Back home, Dad's cough wakes me at 3 a.m., and I bring him water, his fever-hot hand gripping mine. You're burning the candle at both ends, he says, his voice weak. School's enough, Maya. I want to confess, to tell him about Stellar Pulse the podcast, Ezekiel's truth, but his fear stops me. I'm fine, Dad, I lie, the words bitter. At school, I work on my 3D printed model in the science lab, Miss Harper letting me stay late. You've got a gift, she says, watching the model hum. But I see the worry in her eyes, my exhaustion, my grease-stained hands. I post the model's success on Engines and Dreams, now at 1,200 downloads. My voice bolder. This is what happens when we listen to forgotten geniuses. But Karen's threat looms, and Ramsey's paranoia grows. At Apex, he's doubled security, new cameras in Lab 7, and I overhear him shouting, someone's messing with my engine. His voice cracks, not with anger but fear, and I realize Sophia's right. He's unraveling, desperate to protect his lie. The stakes climb higher when Dad comes home with a layoff notice. His hours cut to part-time, no benefits. We'll manage, he says, but his cough says otherwise. I'm torn, guilt for defying him, fear of losing him, and a burning need to fix Stellar Pulse to make Apex see us. My podcast is my voice, but it's a risk. Each episode a step closer to exposure. Sophia's flash drive, Marcus's warnings, my models hum their pieces of a puzzle only I can solve. Ramsey thinks he's untouchable, but his fear is my weapon. I'm Maya Thompson, and I'm not invisible anymore. I'm the spark that'll light up Ezekiel's legacy, no matter the cost. The air in Apex Dynamics' executive wing feels like a storm about to break, and I'm standing at its center, my circuit journal clutched like a shield as I face Edward Langley, Apex's CEO, his polished desk a barrier between us. I'm Maya Thompson, a 14-year-old black girl in a janitor's jacket, and I've just laid Ezekiel's notebooks before him, their faded pages screaming the truth about Stellar Pulse's stolen design. My grandfather solved this engine 10 years ago, I say, my voice steady despite the tremor in my hands. Ramsey stole his work, and your engineers broke it. Langley's eyes, cold as Seattle's winter rain, flicked to the journals, then back to me, his smile thin. You're a child, Miss Thompson. Brilliant perhaps, but unqualified. Apex can't risk a $60 million engine on a janitor's daughter. The dismissal cuts, not just for me but for Ezekiel, for Dad, for every black soul Apex has erased. I think of Dad's cough, the $12,000 hospital bill, the layoff notice that could end us, and my resolve hardens. Langley's security escort looms, but I'm not done. Not when Ramsey's lie is choking Stellar Pulse. Not when my podcast, Engines and Dreams, now at 2,000 downloads, is ready to broadcast the truth to the world. Ezekiel's voice whispers. In my mind, machines have souls. Maya and I know tonight's my last chance to make them hear it. It's midnight, and I'm crouched outside Apex's service entrance, my heart slamming against my ribs as I wait for a delivery truck. To distract the guard, Ramsey's doubled security since my last break-in, cameras sweeping every hole. But I've memorized their blind spots, thanks to Marcus Tate's quiet tips. Dad's at home, his bronchitis worse, his voice weak when I lied about studying late. Don't push too hard, Maya, he said, his love a weight I carry as I slip inside, using his key. The halls are dark, emergency lights casting shadows like ghosts, and I head for the ventilation duct above Lab 7. It's 1.5 foot with a tight squeeze. My knees scrape metal as I crawl, dust stinging my eyes, my circuit journal tucked against my chest below Stellar Pulse waits, its curves gleaming like a promise. I drop into the lab, my breath shallow, and approach the engine. My hands finding the 2-inch fuel valve Ezekiel designed, his harmony system fluid flow patterns. Counterintuitive pressure settings guides my wrench, each turn a defiance of Ramsey's theft. I'm halfway through when a flashlight beam cuts the darkness, and Dr. Sofia Alvarez steps in, her face pale but resolute. Maya, you're insane, she whispers, but she kneels beside me, her hands steady as she checks my adjustments. This could work, she says, her voice thick with awe. Your grandfather was a genius. Sophia's alliance, a Mexican-American engineer risking her career, feels like a lifeline, but the clock's ticking, and Ramsey's paranoia is a noose tightening around us. We work for 2 hours, recalibrating the valve to Ezekiel's specs. The engine's hum growing steady, a faint song of hope, but footsteps echo, and Karen Holt's voice slices through the door. Who's in there? Her flashlight sweeps, and I dive under a console, Sophia covering me. Just me, Sophia says, her tone calm, checking calibrations. Karen's eyes narrow, her radio crackling as she mutters about suspicious activity. She leaves, but her threat lingers, and Sophia whispers, Ramsey's got her on your trail. He knows someone's close to cracking Stelurples. The idea that Ramsey fears me, a 14-year-old nobody, sparks a fire, but guilt gnaws at me. Dad doesn't. No, I'm here, risking his job. Our home. Sophia hands me a flash drive with final test data, confirming our adjustments push efficiency 20% higher, and says, finish this, Maya, I'll watch the door. I nod, my hands shaking as I make the last tweak, the engine's hum now a symphony, Ezekiel's soul alive in its gears. The next morning, I'm at school, barely awake, my 3D printed Stellar Pulse model humming in the science lab. Ms. Harper lets me work through lunch, her eyes worried but proud. You're building something special, she says, and I want to tell her it's more than a model, it's justice. I post a podcast episode, Engines and Dreams, now at 3,000 downloads, describing my model's success without naming Apex. This is what happens when we trust overlooked minds, I say, my voice bold but my stomach twisting if Ramsey hears this. I'm exposed. At Apex, the military review looms, and Ramsey's on edge, his voice sharp as he barks at engineers. Stellar Pulse must work tomorrow, or we're done. I overhear him in Lab 5, his hands shaking as he scribbles on a whiteboard, and I realize Sophia's right. He's terrified, not just of failure but of being unmasked. His empire, built on Ezekiel's stolen designs, is crumbling, and I'm the spark threatening to burn it down. I decide to confront Langley one last time, my circuit journal in hand, my heart pounding as I sneak into the executive wing during my shift. His assistant tries to stop me, but I push past, my voice loud. Mr. Langley, Stellar Pulse is failing because you ignored Ezekiel Brooks. He looks up, his face a mask of annoyance. You again. This is a $60 million project, not a school experiment. I slam the journal on his desk, pages open to Ezekiel's designs. My grandfather solved this 10 years ago. Ramsey stole it, and you let him. Langley's eyes flicker, but he waves me off. You're out of line, Miss Thompson. Security. As guards escort me out, Ramsey appears, his smirk cruel. Told you to stay in your place, mop girl, he hisses, but his hands tremble, betraying his fear. I'm shaking with rage, but Marcus catches me in the hall, his voice low. You're close, Maya. I found footage of Ramsey claiming Ezekiel's work. Be ready tomorrow. The demonstration day arrives and I'm in the presentation hall. A last-minute pass from Sophia letting me in. Military officials and investors fill the seats, their faces expectant as Langley takes the stage, praising Ramsey's vision. Stellar Pulse gleams center stage, its hum steady from my adjustments, but Ramsey, pale and sweating, steps to the controls, his eyes darting to me. Let's show them the future, he says. And the engine starts, metrics climbing until warning lights flash. The hum turns discordant, pressure spiking dangerously. Ramsey's entered commands to reverse my changes, reverting to his flawed settings. Minor issue, he lies, but the engine shakes, a 3-inch bolt, visibly straining. Panic erupts, alarms blaring as evacuation protocols kick in. I break from the crowd, shouting, it's the fuel valve. Ramsey undid Ezekiel's design. The general turns, his eyes sharp. Who are you? Before I can answer, Ramsey lunges. She's sabotaging us, but Sophia steps forward. Let her fix it, she yells, pushing past guards. I reached, my hands finding the tunge valve as alarms scream. With Sophia's cover, I reset it to Ezekiel's specs, my fingers steady despite the chaos. For agonizing seconds, nothing changes. The engines roar deafening. Then the warning lights fade. The hum smooths and metrics soar 35% higher efficiency than ever. The room falls silent, the general staring as Ramsey's face crumples. Marcus steps forward, a laptop in hand. You need to see this, he says, connecting to the main screen. Footage plays Ramsey 10 years ago, claiming Ezekiel's designs as his own, Langley nodding knowingly. The crowd gasps, investors murmuring, the general's face darkening. This is fraud, he says. Langley's voice falters. We'll investigate, but the truth is out. Ezekiel's legacy breaking through Apex's lies. I look at Dad, who's pushed through the crowd, his eyes wide with shock and pride. I've risked everything, his job, our future, but as Stellar Pulse sings, I know it's worth it. Ramsey's empire's falling, and I'm the spark that lit the fire. I stand in the Ezekiel Brooks Innovation Hub, its 6,000 square foot expanse humming with the energy of kids wielding wrenches and dreams. The old auto shop reborn as a beacon of hope in Seattle's heart. 8 weeks have passed since I stood before the Stellarpulse engine, alarms screaming as I reset its twin fuel valve, exposing Victor Ramsey's theft and shattering Apex Dynamics' lies. The memory of that night, Dad's shocked eyes, Ramsey's empire crumbling, the engine's perfect hum still pulses in me, a reminder of what we fought for. I'm Maya Thompson, now 15. No longer the invisible mop girl, but a voice that echoes through my Engines and Dreams podcast, now at 12,000 downloads. And these walls, where Ezekiel's sketches hang like sacred texts. Dad stands beside me, his janitor's uniform gone, replaced by a technical advisor's badge and a $20,000 raise, his cough silenced by proper care. Ezekiel's name, now on 12 patents, funds this hub and my future, but it's the kids around me, burn faces, bright eyes building motors to music that make my heart soar. We've turned racism's machine inside out, but the scars of our fight linger. And as I watch a girl named Lena, 13, tighten a bolt with a grin, I know this victory is bigger than Mitz. Ezekiel's soul, singing for all of us. That fallout from that demonstration was a reckoning. Ramsey was gone by dawn, his office stripped bare, as Marcus Tate, now security director, watched with quiet satisfaction. The footage Marcus played Ramsey stealing Ezekiel's designs a decade ago, his voice smug as he erased a black mechanic's genius ended his career. Investors and military officials demanded blood, and Edward Langley, Apex's CEO, tried to dodge it, claiming he was deceived. But Marcus dug deeper, uncovering emails where Langley approved Ramsey's theft, burying Ezekiel's contributions. To protect Apex's image, the board forced Langley's resignation, his severance slashed by lawsuits from Ezekiel's estate. Now a trust for my education and others, Dr. Sofia Alvarez took the helm as chief engineer, her Mexican-American roots a quiet defiance of Apex's old guard. She launched diversity mandates, requiring minority voices on every project, and rehired the janitorial staff with benefits, Dad included. You rewrote the rules, Maya, Sofia said at the hub's opening, her hand on my shoulder. Her pride warms me, but so does the memory of Dad's fear, his pleas to stay small, and the guilt of defying him still stings. Dad's changed in ways I never imagined. Caleb Thompson, once worn thin by double shifts, now walks taller, his insights from years of cleaning labs shaping Apex's next projects. I was wrong, Maya, he told me last week, his voice thick as we sat on our couch. I thought the world would break you, but you broke it open. His words healed the fights we had, the nights I lied about sneaking into Apex. But I see the cost in his eyes, the worry of losing me, the hospital bills that nearly crushed us. The $12,000 debt is paid, thanks to Ezekiel's royalties. And Dad's new role gives him purpose, not just survival. I think of Ezekiel saving every penny for my future, his hands guiding mine over a fuel pump when I was 6, his voice saying, "Machines have souls, Maya." Those royalties now fund the Ezekiel Brooks Innovation Scholarship, supporting 25 minority students a year. And this hub, where his old workbench stands as a shrine, his photo smiling beside a young me, wrench in hand. Every bolt turned here feels like his victory. A black mechanic's genius finally seen. The hub's opening was a celebration. Seattle's kids black-brown overlooked flooding in 2-touch 3D printers and engine models. I started the Future Mechanics Camp, my own idea, teaching engineering through music, Ezekiel's rhythm in every lesson. Engines have beats, I tell the kids, showing them how a motor's hum syncs with a drum. Lena, with her quick hands and fierce grin, built a motor that purred to a hip-hop track, her joy a mirror of mine at her age. "I'm gonna be an engineer," she declared, and I hugged her, my heart full but heavy with responsibility. My podcast plays in the background, an episode featuring Marcus, his voice steady as he recounts Ezekiel's fight. "He never stopped believing," Marcus said. And the comments, 20,000 downloads now call me a beacon for justice. The spotlight's strange. Local news calls me Seattle's teen prodigy, but I'm still Maya, the girl who crawled through a 1.5-foot duct, risking everything. Dad's pride, once cautious, now shines, but I see the shadow of our fight. The night he begged me to stop, fearing Apex would destroy us. Ramsey's downfall is a story, Apex whispers. His cruelty wasn't just racism, it was a mask for insecurity. A man who knew his success was stolen. Without Ezekiel's designs, he was nothing, and his paranoia watching me, setting Karen Holt to spy, proved it. Karen's gone, too, reassigned after her role in Ramsey's scheme came to light, her cold threats a fading echo. But the real enemy was Apex's system, one that let a black man's brilliance be erased for a decade. Sofia's reforms are start diversity training, fair patent policies, janitorial input on lab safety, but they're only steps. Marcus, now leading security, ensures no one's work is stolen again, his limp a badge of battles fought quietly. "You gave me courage, Maya," he told me, his eyes bright. I was invisible too. His words carry Ezekiel's warmth, but also the pain of years spent unseen. A reminder that this fight is bigger than one engine. School feels different now. Ms. Harper secured funding for Rainier High's science lab, new oscilloscopes gleaming where Rusty once stood. My classmates call me Spark Soul, half joking, half proud, and I'm learning to embrace it. My podcast is my voice, sharing stories of forgotten innovators, black and brown minds who deserve light. An episode about Lena's motor went viral, 25,000 downloads, and I'm planning one on Sophia's rise, her defiance, a lesson in allyship, but fame is heavy. Every listener's praise reminds me of the risks Ramsey sabotaged, the alarms, Dad's fear. I'm Apex's junior consultant now, set to present Stellar Pulse's upgrades next month, my voice steady in rooms once close to me. Dad's ideas shape Apex, too, his quiet wisdom from years of watching engineers now valued. When you walk home some nights, the Seattle skyline glowing, and I feel Ezekiel's presence, his hand on my shoulder, his voice clear. You made the machine sing, Maya. Sitting on Ezekiel's workbench, my circuit journal open, I reflect on what this fight taught me. Racism tried to dimuse Ezekiel Dad, me, but resilience turned our pain into power. I learned that prejudice thrives in silence, but speaking out, even when it's risky, can break its hold. Allies like Sophia and Marcus showed me that change needs courage from everyone, not just the oppressed. Ignored talent, like Ezekiel, isn't just a personal loss, it's a theft from the world, and lifting those voices builds a better future. The hardest lesson was the cost, Dad's fear, my guilt, the nights I thought we'd lose everything. But Ezekiel taught me that machines, like people, need someone to listen, and I'll never stop. If you were in a similar situation, facing racial and social prejudice, ignored hidden talent, how would you approach it to achieve the best possible outcome? Would you risk everything to speak truth, or find another path to amplify the unseen? As I close my journal, Lena's laugh echoing, I know my answer. I'm Maya Thompson, and my spark, Ezekiel's spark, will keep lighting the way, no matter what tries to dim it.